Ladies and gentlemen, in partnership with the Supervisor of Elections, Brian Corley, Pasco County Schools welcomes you to our 2023 Veterans Day ceremony. Now, if you're a veteran, active duty service member, guardsman, or reservist, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. It's all about you today. And every day, I would say. We'd like to take a moment to introduce some of our special guests who are here today. Superintendent Kurt Browning. Tom Viking. It's Tom. Okay. Tina Stavro. Okay. And they're running around working the event. Andy Dunn, back here on camera. And I know there's a lot of other VIPs that I missed. There are some superintendents here, I think, that just came in. If you're a superintendent or assistant superintendent, please stand up and be recognized. I know there's some here. All right, thank you. And some school board members, I believe, as well. If you're a school board member, oh, thank you so much for being here today. Those are the brains of the operation that keep things running here in Pasco, I got to tell you. All right. Now, special thanks to our River Ridge High School art teachers, Ashley Brousseau and Juliana Diesel, and River Ridge Middle School art teacher, Rachel Lightbody, for the creative student artwork you see displayed throughout the theater. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, art teachers. And in Pasco County, we are so grateful to the many veterans working and volunteering within our school district. This affords our students and veterans a tremendous opportunity to interact positively and to develop strong appreciation for the freedom that they have experienced. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, humanity celebrated the end of World War I. First known as Armistice Day, the name was later changed to Veterans Day to honor all the men and women who wore the uniform of our United States military. We stop to remember that time when our country has come under attack and they have risen to her defense. Through generations, their courage and sacrifice have allowed our republic to flourish. So today our nation acknowledges the profound debt and gratitude to the patriots who have kept us free while we reflect on the sacrifices of our veterans and honor them with our ceremony today. Now please welcome the River Ridge High School Air Force Junior ROTC under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel David J. Morgan and Chief Master Sergeant Daniel Thompson for the presentation of colors led by bagpiper Gemma Briggs.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as the national anthem will be sung by Cypress Creek Middle School student Jaden Perez.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that her flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you very much, Junior ROTC. Thank you. And of course, Gemma Briggs on the bagpipe. That was amazing. Here is the March of the Armed Forces performed by River Ridge High School Band under the direction of Carly Schultz, featuring Sanders Memorial and Veterans Elementary School students. We ask that veterans stand when they hear their military branch. Okay. And a special thank you to our sign holders and their parents for bringing them out to support our event. Sophia Ingold, Savannah Ingold, Sadie Del Valle, Clay Del Valle, Jace Fuqua, Kristen Fuqua, Layla Smith, Lucas Smith, and Angel Hernandez and Ava Hernandez. Give another round of applause for these great children. Children and animals, never bring them on stage. They win every time. Great job. Okay. Well, it is my privilege now to welcome to the stage our esteemed superintendent, Mr. Kurt Browning.
Well, thank you and good morning. Good morning. Why they put me behind students, I do not know. Good morning and welcome to the Pasco District Schools Veterans Day celebration. This is our 10th annual Veterans Day program, and for 10 years we have supported the importance of honoring and celebrating our veterans and ensuring that instruction around the importance of Veterans Day with our students. Instilling the Medal of Honor attributes in our students, such as valor, honor, integrity, and courage, to name a few, are important to our district and certainly important to me. These are fundamental building blocks for developing active and engaged citizens, and that's what we want for each of our students. In addition to this program being recorded and pushed out to our schools for viewing on Friday, many of our schools will be holding their own Veterans Day programs to celebrate our veterans. We are grateful for our continued community partners who are here supporting our program and our students. Supervisor of Elections Brian Corley, thank you so much. Colonel Mike Roach, Major General Richard Haddad, and Karen Mayer, Director of Strategic Operations for Congressman Gus Bilirakis' office, who has provided a United States flag that has been flown over the United States Capitol. This flag will be presented later in the program to our honored veteran, Captain Ed McComsky. In addition to our program this year is the Quilts of Valor program. Quilts of Valor is a national program that was started in 2003 by the dream of Catherine Roberts, whose son had been deployed to Iraq. She envisioned the quilts created through this program were significant in providing comfort and respect to each soldier that it was awarded to. A quilt of valor is a quality handmade quilt that is machine or hand quilted. It is awarded to a service member or veteran who has been touched by the war. The quilt says unequivocally, "Thank you for your service and sacrifice in serving our nation." To use the term quilt of valor, Quilts of Valor, or QOV, the quilt must be a specific size, must have a label with required information, and it must be awarded. It is not a gift, and it must be recorded. We are honored today to have with us Ms. Julie Goring, a Guild member for the Quilts of Valor. We are so grateful that for the first time in our program's history, we have the West Pasco Education Quilters Guild awarding one of their Quilts of Valor to our honored Pasco veteran this year, retired Pasco educator, Mr. Ed McComsky. Please welcome Ms. Julie Goring.
Hello, everyone. I love hearing that. Today, I represent the West Pasco Quilters Guild in Port Richey, Florida. We have been honored to represent the Quilts of Valor to Mr. Ed McComsky, thank you. We are eternally grateful to you and thank you for your service and sacrifices. You were told a little bit about the Quilts of Valor. It was founded in 2003. Catherine saw this young man struggling in her dream. The dream was as vivid as it was real. She saw the young man in the next scene wrapped in a quilt. His whole demeanor had changed. His despair turned to hope, and his personality to well-being. The message of Catherine's dream was very clear. Quilts can heal. If any one of you have had a snuggle blanket, or you go to watch your favorite show and you pick up a blanket and cover up with, you feel that healing. And that's what we portray in the Quilts of Valor. Our mission is to honor service members and veterans who have been touched by war with comforting and healing quilts of valor. It is a formal expression of the appreciation from a grateful nation. Today, we are awarding Ed. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this gentleman. I think some of you know him. Others know him by Ed, some know him by Mac. I met him for the first time today. He seems like a very delightful man. He graduated from Southern Connecticut University in a BA in English in 1981. From there, he went to the University of South Florida with a teaching certificate in 2000. He joined the United States Marine Corps Platoon Leaders Course and attended Officer Candidate School in 1980 and 81. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps in 1982. And from there, in 1984, he was promoted to first lieutenant. In 1986, he was promoted to captain. He was honorably and medically discharged in 1989 with the following medals and awards: Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, Marine Corps Expeditionary Medal, Naval Unit Citation, Meritorious Unit Citation 3 times, Sea Service Deployment, and Recruiting Service Ribbons. For those of you who know the teacher Wendell Kryn, is that a familiar name here? This gentleman was the last person hired by him in 1997. He taught English language arts, coached the boys' varsity soccer at Ridgewood High School, and won the district soccer championship in 2002 to 2003. He continued to announce boys and girls soccer programs at Ridgewood and 5 high schools in 2011 through 2019. He was Ridgewood High School Teacher of the Year in 2014 and 15, taught social studies at Ridgewood High through 2018. He retired from Pasco County Schools in 2019. We are so proud to award him this quilt. Ed, would you please come up? If you will stand and face the public. We take this quilt and we wrap you in it. If you will hold one side. And then I will hold the other side. The awarding of a Quilt of Valor brings forth a profound 3-part message from our hearts. First, we honor you for your service. We honor you for leaving behind all that you hold dear to serve your country, whether in time of crisis or in time of peace. Because brave men and women like you, today, we here in the United States are able to sleep in peace. Secondly, we know that freedom is not free. The cost of our freedom is the sacrifices that men and women like you make daily. Finally, this quilt is meant to offer comfort to you, to remind you that although your family and friends cannot be with you at all times, you are forever in our thoughts and in our hearts. For those of you who don't know anything about quilting, a quilt consists of 3 layers, held together by quilting stitches. The top of the quilt has many colors and shapes, fabrics that represent the diversity of our communities and individuals. The filler is the batting. It's the center of the quilt. It is the warmth. This represents our hope that this quilt will bring warmth, comfort, peace, and healing to you. The back is the strength that supports all the other layers. The backing represents the strength of the recipient, the supporter of his or her family, our countries, and our nation. Each stitch that holds it together represents the love and gratitude, and sometimes the tears of the quilter. Each quilt of valor is formed by loving hands, in this case from the West Pasco Quilters Guild, that join many bits of fabric to one piece at a time. We quilters believe that as we sew, the loving, caring, and gratitude flows from our hearts through our hands into the quilts we make. These are the quilts you become part of your family quilting and forever in our hearts. The certificate accompanying this quilt reads as follows. The Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to all the nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you, though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice or your service to protect our country. As this is an expression of gratitude, we award you the Quilt of Valor. In conclusion, for those of you who have never seen combat or been in war, such experiences are beyond our comprehension. We hope when you experience dark times that you are in need of the warmth of a grateful hug, you will wrap this quilt around you and let it provide comfort we have sewn in every seam. There is no quilt like yours. Today, we inscribe your name on your Quilt of Valor so that you can tell the future of generations in your family what you have done for our country. On behalf of the Quilts of Valor Foundation, thanking you for allowing us to recognize your service, sacrifice, and valor to our nation. Thank you. And here is the label that shows that it's a Quilt of Valor. For those of you who have individuals that you would also like to honor, please feel free to contact someone at the school and they can forward your name to us, and we would be very happy to have it back. We'll be very happy to have another opportunity to present Quilts of Valor. From the West Pasco Quilters Guild, thank you for this opportunity.
Good morning. I'm going to kill Tina Stavros because this has taken me by complete surprise. I woke up this morning to come here thinking I was just going to be a participant in the audience, and I was totally surprised, so she got me on this. But just about my service, I went to a lot of trouble spots. I took care of a lot of problems. I participated in close combat and hand-to-hand combat, and that was all while working at Ridgewood High School. So good thing I spent some time in the United States Marine Corps to prepare me for that. And, I was honored by my service, and I come from a long line of veterans going all the way back to the Civil War, and I'm proud to say that my two sons, my youngest and my oldest, are both veterans now, one having served in the Army and the other in the Marine Corps. So any of you young people out there that are considering military service, it's a great thing. Just don't join for the benefits. You have to join if you're patriotic, you have a higher calling, because there's a lot of sacrifice involved. And just keep that in mind, okay? Thank you very much. It was good to see everybody. fellow veterans, superintendent, general, quilts of honor, thank you very much. It's a tremendous honor.
I know you're going to enjoy the River Ridge Middle School and High School Orchestra under the direction of Travis Henry and Carly Schultz. Put your hands together, yeah. All right, now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our Supervisor of Elections, Mr. Brian Corley. Give him a...
As the Supervisor of Elections for Pasco County, I'm truly honored to partner with Superintendent Browning, as well as the District School Board of Pasco County, for today's ceremony honoring our veterans. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years. If you add those in attendance with those in the classrooms, there's nearly 80,000 individuals paying homage to our veterans. Certainly the largest veterans event in Pasco, if not the state, if not the nation. So give yourself a round of applause for that. It's fantastic. I think you would agree that as Americans, we owe a debt of gratitude that we can never truly pay back to those who wore and wear the uniform of the United States military. That is our veterans. We have those veterans to thank for our precious right to vote and our freedoms that we cherish. Today is just one way to give back. Through my office initiative that we started in 2007 called Vote in Honor of a Veteran, we go into schools and we pre-register and talk about the importance of registering and voting to our students. We give little commemorative dog tags that read, "In tribute to my vet sacrifice, I will keep my promise to register and to vote." That's just one way our students can give back. Another way, students think of this as an easy homework assignment, is to simply thank a veteran. We are so blessed to have so many men and women in our community who have served, and they are in our school system. They could be your mom, dad, your grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, neighbor, teacher, school-related personnel, and the list goes on. So here's your homework assignment. I challenge you. The next time you see a veteran, simply say thank you for your service. It's that simple. It's the least we can do. As a nation, and of course here in Pasco County, we acknowledge with profound gratitude and with sincere appreciation to our veterans. We honor them not just today, but every day. I now have the distinct honor to introduce our guest speaker, Colonel Mike Roach. Colonel Mike Roach, well, I got to introduce him, sorry. Colonel Mike Roach is served 26 years in the United States Marine Corps. A native of Brooklyn, New York, he has a long history of service to our country and accomplishments in the United States Marine Corps. I could read his bio, but it would probably take about 27 minutes to read it. It's that extensive. He commanded at every level and was stationed on numerous continents. After 26 years of active duty service, he retired. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from Tulane University, as well as a Master of Science degree from Kansas State University. Colonel Roach and his wife Shelley reside in Trinity with their children Shauna and John, and more importantly, they attend Pasco County schools. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce our guest speaker, Colonel Mike Roach.
Thanks, Brian. General Haddad, Beef, the Board of Education, Superintendent Browning, and really also for the River Ridge Orchestra and Band. And if Jaden, you're out there, that was awesome. Thank you for being here today. Also want to thank my wife, Shelley, who's here today. She's the lady with the broken foot. But we've been together for 13 years. We've lived in 8 homes. She's been through 2 combat deployments, one including a year in the Middle East. She stood by me as I led a battalion, a regiment, and while I served at the Pentagon. I would highlight today that besides every veteran, most times there's a spouse, a parent, a sibling, a significant other, friends or kids that also have to carry the burden. So for those, I thank you. I also want to thank the students and teachers here today. I'm not sure if you got out of a quiz on prime numbers or on algebra and understanding the quadratic equation or photosynthesis, but if you did, you're welcome. I hope you gain a little bit more insight today what it means to be a veteran and why we celebrate this day. The willingness by which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive the veterans of early wars were treated and appreciated by their nation. That was George Washington. I was born in New York. My uncle was a firefighter in Rescue 3 in New York Fire Department. He perished on 9/11. My grandfathers both fought in World War II and were veterans. My brother was a C-130 pilot in JTAC. He was a veteran. My sister-in-law was a Navy doctor. She is a veteran. My cousin served in the military. I went to middle school and high school in Central Florida. I'm a father and I'm a husband. I've served in Yemen, Iraq, and Afghanistan. I served as a Marine. I'm a veteran. I'm an American. I'm you. We talked about where Veterans Day came from. I would just like you to think about over the year, there's two other holidays that you may not be aware of. One is Armed Forces Day. And that's when we celebrate and thank those who are serving on active duty, that's serving now. And there's another one in May called Memorial Day. And that's where we appreciate and thank those that didn't come home. And although the treaty signed on 1919 on the 11th of November was to be the peace to end all peace, although wars have not ended, we still have our veterans. But what makes a veteran special, at least for me, are three things that I saw him taking with me over my career: adaptability, culture, and heritage. To adapt from manning its ship's company to being the premier amphibious force, the U.S. Marine Corps showed itself as a capable, lethal land force. Over my career, I found myself in roles I never could have planned or could have foreseen. But I found to succeed, you need to be able to adapt. And more important, how to solve problems is just as important, if not more important, than knowing the answer. So know in this case, you may not always know the right answer, but like we would learn in high school, always show your work. Our culture is that of a warrior, mission first. Mission first, but our people always. Every Marine is a rifleman, and we're always first to fight. Our heritage and traditions are sacrosanct. That is an SAT word. Tripoli, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Lebanon, Somalia, Afghanistan, and Iraq. We stand during the national anthem. We say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. We help our elders. We solve problems. We're organized. We make our bed. We do the right thing. We embrace our history and traditions with a cult-like passion, but we don't let that history anchor us down. Like I said, I started with adaptability. Nonetheless, this morning is about our veterans. Veterans serve so we can live a better life. They made a difference so you can do the same. So I ask you, all of you in the audience, please take with you two things today: honor and making a difference. Honor veterans by showing them the respect, but more important, giving veterans a chance. A veteran serving our community and in our schools is an exponential return on investment. I implore you in the audience to also make a difference. As a son, as a daughter, as a teacher, as a parent, as a community leader, a business leader, in public service, as a citizen, and as a student, make a difference. Success is not judged on the commendations, but the impact you will make on your community. So please make a difference. Our veterans have made a difference in combat and in our community as teachers, as deputies, as small business owners, and parents. Sergeant Nicole Gee, at 23 years old, with CLB-24, made a difference before she was killed by a 20-pound IED at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan on the 26th of August of 2021. That was the last mission order I signed right before I retired. She perished with 12 other servicemen and women, but she made a difference. And although I hope this ultimate sacrifice you may never be called upon to do, if asked and placed in that situation as a teacher and a student, I know you will do your duty. A teacher will protect her students. A first responder will answer a call. A fellow student will lead his other friends to safety. But you can do this difference every day. The student comforts a friend who maybe lost a parent or is going through a divorce. Help your neighbor. If you see someone fall down, help pick them up. Help a friend in class. If you're a senior or upperclassman in middle school, help the sixth grader, help a freshman, because they're nervous. I will tell you, besides being a Marine, the most nerve-wracking moment of my life was sixth grade. So if you're in it right now, I know how you feel. But make a difference. Know how to listen, give your ear to someone, be a coach, scout leader, be a coach, be a crossing crowd, or even a substitute teacher, but make a difference. Veterans have showed us how to survive when life is hard. but they also show us that we can be harder. It's not how you succeed, but it's how you get back up. There was a poem written in the 19th century called Invictus. It means unconquered. I think it hopefully will resonate with you as it has with me over the years. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I never winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody, but I am not unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but horror of the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds and find me, but I'll remain unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, our charge, the punishments, the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. God bless all of you. God bless our veterans. God bless the Royal Knights. God bless Pasco County. And God bless America. Thank you.
But now we're going to get ready to boogie woogie with the River Ridge Middle School and High School dancers. These are under the direction of teachers Lynn Viro for middle school and Sarah Taylor for the high school. Put your hands together. Well, it is definitely my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker today. He's an Air Force veteran of 35 years service, has college degrees from Harvard University, Touro University International, and the U.S. Air Force Academy. He has over 5,000 combat hours, including Operations Desert Storm, Enduring Freedom, and Iraqi Freedom. Awards include 3 Distinguished Flying Crosses, 5 Air Medals, and many, many more. Ladies and gentlemen, retired Major General Richard Beef Haddad.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. This has been awesome. The bands, the dancers, the bagpipes, the young man that sang the national anthem, absolutely fantastic. This is a great honor for me to be here to celebrate Veterans Day with each and every one of you. But before I start, I'd like to ask, I know they haven't stood up enough, I'd like to ask the veterans to please stand up one more time. And remain standing for a second. Are your spouses here with you? I know the colonel's wife is here. So any spouses, please stand. We all know that, and I think the colonel mentioned it in his remarks, it's not just a one-man game when you're serving your country. It takes a village, a family, and they're all part of it, and they all support you. So thank you very much for each and every one of you for what you've done for our veterans, and veterans, thank you for your service. We celebrate Veterans Day, which began as Armistice Day on November 11, 1919, the first anniversary of the end of World War I, to thank all those who serve and all those killed in our country's wars. The theme for Veterans Day 2023 is service. I am truly honored to be with you today to honor those brave men and women that so proudly answered the call to serve and took an oath to protect our way of life and the Constitution of the United States. Like me, I swore an oath to a document, not a king or queen, person, dictator, or wannabe dictator. And like those who stood a few moments ago, men and women who serve the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force, which is new, come from all walks of life. They could be your parents, your children, your grandparents, your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers. They are all an important part of society. This day is an opportunity to honor those brave men and women who have sacrificed all those things for our United States of America. I had the opportunity to deploy 8 different times to the Middle East. And instead of giving you some long, drawn-out speech, I thought I'd relate a little anecdote from one of those deployments. 9/11 struck and terrorists attacked our nation. And I had the pleasure of being the squadron commander for an MC-130 squadron. And the MC-130s it's a multifaceted airplane that refuels helicopters. There's hoses that come out the wing. It refuels behind KC-135s and KC-10s, like the 135s that are down at MacDill. It drops paratroopers out the back end. It also drops cargo at high speeds at low altitudes. And it also has a terrain following radar, so if we're trying to go into enemy territory, we fly low to the ground. Well, 9/11 hit, and I led a group of 8 crews that fly that airplane, and we took 5 of those airplanes to the desert. 5 of those crews were reserve crews, and there's reserve, the guard, and the active duty. The reserve and the guard are part-timers, which I was for many years. You have another job along with your military job. The active duty are full-time. So we had 5 reserve crews and 3 active duty crews. Now, the thing about being a reservist or a guardsman, you have to maintain the same qualifications as the active duty. So we went over to the desert, and our role was to refuel helicopters that were going in to get those terrorists that attacked our nation. We were there in October. 9/11 happened in September. And what they referred to as hit night, there were 2 targets. There was a target to the west called Rhino, and there was a target to the east called Gecko. And my guys' responsibility was for Gecko. And the role was to go in and refuel those special ops helicopters that were going in to find those terrorists. I was the mission commander on one of those 5 airplanes. 5 of those airplanes were flying that night. Those 5 airplanes, with the exception of the flight back to Oman, which is where we were based on a small island called Mazira, which was probably an hour en route, so 2 hours going and coming back. The entire mission lasted 15 hours for each of those 5 aircraft. Those pilots didn't get out of the seat. None of those crew members got out of their seat for 15 hours. They continued to refuel the helicopters, and when they needed gas, they would go back up to the KC-135s to get their fuel. Now, the bravery that took place that night cannot be described in the amount of time that we have here. But the helicopters, nothing went as planned. I was like a puppet master trying to ensure that the airplanes were where they're supposed to be at any given time. The helicopters had to stay on their targets longer, so they had to have us come back into country further and further, putting us at risk, and we were down at 500 feet refueling those helicopters. And normally you go back up to a higher altitude in a safe area to refuel with the KC-135s to get your gas. Well, that night, the KC-135s were coming down below 1,000 feet to refuel us. It was an amazing opportunity to see these men and women in action, and I couldn't be prouder as the squadron commander of those men and women that put their lives on the line. The Air Force has core values called integrity first, excellence, service before self, and excellence in all we do. And those men and women exemplified that to the highest levels. It was quite an honor to be a part of that. It was an honor to see those men and women who came from, they were reservists, who had jobs in offices, who were managers, who were lawyers, who were, medical technicians, you name it, that's what they did in their other jobs. And here they were doing their nation's business. It was pretty impressive, and to this day, I get chills thinking about the things that those men and women did on that night and many other nights that I could go on for all day long talking about those stories. But I'm very proud of the men and women that served our country that night. I'd like to conclude by telling you about a poem that signifies Veterans Day. Can someone blare out the flower that represents Veterans Day? Poppies, yeah, that's correct. So from 1914 to 1918, Flanders Fields was a major battle theater on the Western Front during the First World War. 1 million soldiers from more than 50 different countries were wounded, missing, or killed in action here. Entire cities and villages were destroyed. Their populations scattered across Europe and beyond. Written during World War I by a Canadian doctor, John M. McCrae, in 1915, his poem, In Flanders Fields, led to the red poppy becoming a worldwide symbol of remembrance for Veterans Day. So let me conclude with a poem. In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly. Scarce heard amid guns below. We are dead short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here with you today. God bless you and God bless America.
How about another applause for General Haddad? Thank you. I would also be remiss if I didn't thank my amazing technical crew here at the CFA who made all this happen, all the technical. Thank you so much. I love my crew here. Okay. Now, please stand as the River Ridge High School Junior ROTC returns, and they're going to retire the colors, led by bagpiper Gemma Briggs.
Forward, march.
Okay, here's the J.W. Mitchell High School Band. you so much for coming out today. And don't forget, our veterans represent the best in all of us. So thank you for making this a memorable event, and have a great day. Thank you.